there, Dr. Shelby here at Evolve Chiropractic in Woodstock to show you a great exercise for both your glutes and your hamstrings. So this is called a modified glute bridge. So I'll show you the glute bridge and then how we can modify it to make it a little bit more advanced for you. So if you've ever been to our practice, we've probably talked to you about a glute bridge, especially if you're having low back pain, because our hamstrings, our glutes, and our low back are intricately intertwined in not only stabilization, but propulsion of like walking forward, standing up, lifting things from the ground. And if you have one part of that chain that's a little bit weaker than the others can compensate for it, causing strain and pain. I'm sure if you've had low back pain, you've experienced this before. So a glute bridge is really good for activating those glutes and taking some pressure off the lower back there. So what a glute bridge looks like is you're going to have your feet and legs about hip width apart here. You're going to be laying on your back. You want to activate your core by thinking someone's going to punch you in the stomach. So you're going to brace that core. You're going to allow your pelvis to tilt up just a little bit so your low back is resting on the ground. You want your legs at a little bit less than like a 45-degree angle here. And as your hands are on the ground here, you're just going to think about squeezing your glutes up towards the sky. So I just squeeze my glutes up towards the sky. Hold that for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, relax, and then you can repeat that exercise. Now this is a really great beginner's part of the exercise. You can modify this or make it a little bit harder and starting to involve your hamstring a little bit more. So for this, again, you're going to have your legs about hip width apart. You can always modify it to make it easier by bringing one leg in to begin with, but I'll show you what this exercise looks like before we start modifying it more. So again, I'm going to brace my core like someone's going to punch me in the stomach. I'm going to tilt my pelvis up towards the sky just a little bit so my low back is on the ground here. And then I'm going to start by straightening out my right leg here. Okay, so it's about parallel to my other leg. And what I'm going to do is same thing. I'm going to squeeze my glutes up towards the sky. So I'm going to squeeze the glutes up towards the sky, hold it, and then back down. Now it is really key for this exercise that as you're doing it, you don't want your hips to be going off neutral here, so you don't want to be like leaning towards one side or the other. That means we have a weakness or an imbalance on one side versus the other. So this is a really great way to start involving our hamstring on that involved side there. So again, I'll show you on this other side here. So again, bracing my core, tilting my pelvis up to the sky here, and shifting those hips up towards the ceiling. Now again, I said you can modify this to make it a bit easier. If your feet are hip width apart and you're doing this and you feel like you're very off balance, you can always bring that standing leg in just a little bit more. That's going to make it a little bit easier on you, but I wouldn't say go too far in because then again, you are compensating for that. So we want to try to keep our legs and our feet about hip width apart here so that as we're doing this exercise, we're getting the most benefit not only out of that working glute, but that working hamstring as well. Go ahead and give this a try and see how it helps.